Hey, my name is Hoad. Today is day 5 of the 7-day guitar challenge. Today I'm going to show you this really cool blues riff that sounds a little something like this. It's one of my faves, and that riff is in like tens of thousands of songs, probably hundreds of thousands or millions of songs. We're also going to learn a new chord to add on to your chord changes from the last lesson and piece that all together so you'll have 3 chords up your sleeve. If you like what I do, please like my video and subscribe to this channel. There's also a link in the description below to download a PDF hard copy of all the notes that I've covered in this 7-day challenge. So like I said, we're going to start with this blues riff. The first thing I want to talk about is the right hand. So you've been busy working on your pivot, okay? That's starting to feel really familiar now. If you're still unsure about that, go back to lesson number 2 where I broke that down in detail and why that's so important. What I want to do today is I want to play the low E and the A string together. So if you can play into the guitar again using that pick and stopping on the D string there. You can also do it with your thumb if you want to go back to playing with the fingers, but the pick does sound really cool. And hopefully that's starting to feel really comfortable now. So that's the right hand part. We're just going to start there. Now let's have a look at the left hand part. What we're going to do is this riff starts with the first finger on the 2nd fret of the A string. Okay, and with my right hand again I'm on the E and the A, and I'm going to strike those 2 strings together twice. So again with that first finger there, my right hand's just going, okay, and that left hand is staying right there. So do that twice. Here we go. Well done, making sure that first finger's right up on that fingertip and right up to the fret, making sure our thumb's in the middle of the neck, at the back of the neck, like we discussed in earlier lessons. So after we do that twice, what we're going to do is we're going to go up to the 3rd finger on the 4th fret of the A string. So up 2 frets there. We're going to put the 3rd finger on that 4th fret of the A string, and with my pick, I'm going to play those same 2 strings twice. Okay, so I'm going to use them twice. And what we're going to do each of those twice. So back to the beginning, back to the first finger here. We're going to do this twice. And then my 3rd finger is going to come up here on the 4th fret, and we're going to do that twice. And we're going to repeat back to the first finger twice. Great job. Then back to the 3rd finger on the 4th fret twice. And again, back to the first finger twice. And then the 3rd finger on the 4th fret twice. If that's too difficult, you could use your first finger for everything, but hopefully now with all the technique stuff you've been practicing from those other lessons, you can use your 3rd finger. But if you're struggling with that, you can do the kind of cheats way and do it with the first finger. That's a whole lot more work, but you might say it's easier, and sure. But really, 3rd finger is going to be easier. Again, making sure our thumb's in the center of the neck there, at the back of the neck, and also in the center of that position there. So you can see it's centered between my 1st and my 3rd finger, which just makes it super easy. My right hand, again, is just playing those 2 strings, twice on each. And that's it. Okay. That's the beginning of the 12-bar blues, and that riff is again in so many songs and so cool. There's so many different variations on that, and that is a big fundamental of, you know, how music has evolved over the years, and the music that we hear today on the radio and YouTube and stuff. So much of it has evolved from that, and that blues riff is a big part of that juice. So here we go. Let's try it together. What I want you to do this time is to try and keep it really even, so no gaps in between the 2nd and the 4th fret. So starting with the first finger, do it twice. I'll count you in. I'll give you 4 and so first and again. Now to the 3rd finger, nice and even without any gaps there. Back to the first finger there, then back to the 3rd finger there. Back to the first finger, then back to the 3rd finger. Now you can see now I'm keeping that nice and even, and you can hear how awesome my right hand sounds there with picking those strings. Okay, because I'm really consistent with both of those. First finger twice, then 3rd finger twice. Okay, keeping that really nice and really consistent. Now, as you get better at that, you can start speeding that up. I wouldn't speed that up until I had it, you know, sort of perfected. But as I start to get better at that, sounds really cool. Again, there's heaps of different variations and different ways to play that, but I just want to keep it super simple for this 7-day course, so very cool. Now check this out. What we can also do is something really cool here. If you move your pick over to the A and the D string, so now rather than playing the E and the A, if you play the A and the D string together, try and get them to ring at the same time. So just getting used to that now. Now, with the left hand, what we can do is we can put our first finger down there on that second fret of the D string. So what I've done, I've moved it from here over to the D string. And if I play with my right hand again, the A and the D, okay, I can now, with my left hand, play that same exact riff, but now my first finger's on the D string. So on the D string, I'm going second fret twice, and then up to the fourth fret twice. And my right hand is just playing those same two over and over. Again, if I start speeding that up, you can see how effortless my right hand is there because I've got that really solid technique. With that right hand pivot, something we'll often do too is come and have the pivot with our fingertips on the body of the guitar there. And there's lots of different variations on that, but I really feel it's important to start with that pivot there and get a feel for that. If that's terribly uncomfortable, sometimes it is for the first few days, but very quickly it becomes really comfortable, and you can see from what we did in our first lesson all the benefits of doing it like that. So you're doing an amazing job. Just keep at it. So what we can do now is we can play that E riff for 2 bars. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 again, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and then to the A riff for 2 bars. That's a really good place to start to get used to swapping between those two shapes. And I'm just going between, with my right hand I'm doing the E and the A string, and then here I'm moving obviously to the A and the D string. I'll just give you a close-up on my right hand here. So we got, so that's that first riff, then I move it across obviously to here. And that's great. Well done. Have some fun playing around with that, and you've got all those other riffs we've covered so far too in this 7-day challenge. So today's chord I would like to show you is a D chord. Okay, now we've already learned E and A. We learned the quickest way to learn chords, the quickest way to change between chords. Again, you did a great job. Today we're going to learn a D chord. This is our 3rd chord. A D chord is a bit trickier. It's trickier because your right hand has to be more accurate. We'll talk about that in a second. But what I want to do here is have my first finger here on the 2nd fret of the G string. Okay, so first finger's up there on the 2nd fret of the G string, so 4th string across, 1, 2, 3, 4, right there. My 2nd finger's up here on the 2nd fret of the high E string, and my 3rd finger is right there on the 3rd fret of the B string. Now my right hand is actually only playing the high 4 strings, so I'm skipping the E and the A completely. I'm not playing those 2 strings, and I'm just playing these ones. Okay, only the high 4 strings, and there's that chord there. Again, 4 strings here. If that sounds a little bit buzzy and those sorts of things, make sure those fingers are right up to the frets. Ideally that thumb at the back of the neck is going to be down a bit, giving you that height. Again, you can see if my thumb's up like that, that becomes sort of flat, and if I bring it down, it really gets that up nice and high like that. Sure, that's starting to sound pretty good now with all the awesome technique that you've developed over the last few days. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go back to the first chord we learned, which is the E. Now when we go to the E chord, the first finger can literally just move down 1 fret, and of course the 2nd and the 3rd fingers come here. And that's with our pick, all 6 strings. Okay, so let's try going a few times from that E. Again, now we're going to go back to that new chord. So really slowly, let's go back to that D chord. So that first finger can come up 1 to the 2nd fret. That 2nd finger's up there on the 2nd fret of the high E. And that 3rd finger's there on that 3rd fret of the B string. Good job. Well done. Now back to the E chord. I like to just slide my first finger down 1 fret and then build that 2nd and that 3rd right there. Back to the D chord. Up 1 and 2nd and 3rd. Good job. Now, like I said in that last lesson, the easiest way to learn chords is to play 2 chords at a time and just repeat them. And usually I'll apply a bit of rhythmic accountability by playing 4 beats per bar. And I'll play the chord on the first beat of each bar. So I might play on the D, I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, then to the E. 1, 2, 3, 4, back to the D. 1, 2, 3, 4, then back to the E. Now that's probably a little bit quick, so let's try it together. I'll start counting as soon as we start playing. Let's get that D chord lined up. So there's your new D chord. First finger here, 2nd finger here, third finger here. Let's play with 4 strings only with the right hand. Remember, just the 4 strings. Okay, let's try it. So here we go on the D. I'll count you in. I'll give you 4 and D. 1 and 2. Remember, we're changing to E. 3 and 4. Now E and 2 and 3 and back to the D. 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and back to E. 1 and 2 and 3 and back to the D. 1 and 2 and 3, changing to the E. 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, back to the D. 1, a bit faster. 2 and 3 and 4 to the E. And 1 and 2 and 3, back to the D. 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 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 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Well done. If that's too fast, obviously take it slower. Otherwise, if it's not fast enough, just keep speeding it up until it's warp speed, okay? So again, that's always the quickest way to learn chords, 2 at a time and just speeding them up. Then what we can do is, from the last lesson, we spent all that time on E and G. So now we can do G and D. So you know the G chord really well from the last lesson. We combine that with a D chord. This is what we get. G, okay, to a D. Okay, can you remember that G chord? So G, we've got the first finger on the 2nd fret of the A string, 2nd finger on the 3rd fret of the low E, and 3rd finger up there on the 3rd fret of the high E. And of course, with our right hand, that's all 6 strings. And then we're going to go back to the D, which of course is only 4 strings with the right hand. So let's try starting with the G chord together. Okay, so get that all set up. First finger there, 2nd here, and 3rd on the low. Oh, sorry, on the high E. Let's play all 6 strings. Here we go. 4 and G. 1, 2. Now to D. 3, 4 and D. 4 strings. 1, 2. Only 4 with the pick. Good job. 3. Back to the G. 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and back to the D. 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, back to the G. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, etc. Well done. So that's again the quickest way to learn chords, and now you've got 2 systems. So this week you can practice a lot going from G to D like we just did, and also from E to D. Usually when I'm learning a new chord, I'll practice one that I know really well and one that I'm learning. That's always nice because you get the one that you know, like for instance G, and then one that you don't know so well, say D. G and D, repeat, repeat. Then you pick one you know, E, and one you don't know so well, D, and repeat. So there you're going to be your 2 exercises this week. Again, if you want to download the PDF, feel free to download it from the description below, and I can't wait to see you in the next lesson. Again, please like the video, subscribe to my channel, and check out all my awesome courses on my website. I'll see you in the next lesson.